Racing here, the Nations Cup is underway in 2024 as Miyazono leads the field down to T1, followed by Sasaki and Drummond. Don't expect any dive bombs down towards the first corner. That rolling starts spreading the field out a little bit, but when it begins to bunch up in the middle part of the first lap, that's where we could see moves being made. But Miyazono a little bit wide there. Sasaki having a half look to the inside into turn 2, but now he's right in the wheel tracks here of the Ferrari F50 as we come over the crest of the hill and in towards the middle sector. And Sasaki already trying to be on the attack here in the Maserati MC20. Drummond trying to follow him through as well. We're going to be attacking him with Drummond. He splits the two. That is absolutely fantastic for Kylian Drummond. He's on the outside of Miyazono and he leads into the chicane. What a start from the Frenchman. Third to first in half a lap.
Yeah, big support here for Kylian Drummond as he makes his way up into first place. Sasaki then just ran into the back of Miyazono, killed his momentum, and that just allowed Kylian Drummond, who had the slipstream, just to drive on by. Meanwhile, Kaida Brun behind is defending hard from Valerio Gallo in that Ford GT. It is Ferrari, Ford, Lexus and McLaren SLR line astern at the moment as we come onto the boot section here at Watkins Glen. Upper right hand to get into the inside, get into the camber, let it use that to turn the car, and now accelerate hard uphill towards the next heavy braking zone. Gallo there looking very aggressive and kind of just putting a wheel on the grass. That will slow him down a little bit coming over the crest. Looks like Gallo's going to have a chance here. Looks to the inside. We know he can make a move easy there. Gallo up the inside, up into P4, and he'll be now in pursuit of the top 3 in front of him.
These are the kind of races I absolutely love in Gran Turismo. The gloves will be off. It is all-out war with these drivers. It matters for where they're going to start on the grid for the grand final. Kaida Brun there, a little bit wide. Serrano looking through on the inside in the Lexus LFA. No, can't find his way past at the moment, but look at the gap the top 3 have got already at the end of this first lap. It's Kylian Drummond who leads the field around the final corner at the end of lap 1, followed by Miyazono, followed by Sasaki.
Big moment under braking there for Sasaki. The car got all kinds of sideways, but that is a challenge of these production-style cars. Not quite as stiffly sprung as the race-prepared machine, so they do move around a lot under braking, and awesome to see Sasaki there just gathering back up and get back into the chase. Up to lap 2 then, lap 2 of 7 here at Watkins Glen. We're on board now with Sasaki. He's going to be again in the tow with Miyazono, and that F50 a little bit weak in a straight line compared to the cars around it, which means that Sasaki should do, if he doesn't run into the back of Miyazono this time, goes to the outside, he should have the overspeed. Miyazono's going to make him work for it, pinches his fellow countryman there. That's a little bit cheeky there from Miyazono, stops the move being made. What do you reckon of that, Tom?
Stewards might be able to look at that. I don't think that was entirely fair, because Sasaki had to get out the throttle to avoid going onto the grass. The thing is now, you've got to keep an eye out for Valerio Gallo, this man here in the Ford GT. What he needs to hope for is that the top 3 start squabbling and fighting amongst one another, because that will bring this lot right back into play. At the moment, they build up such a comfortable cushion that they don't really have to be worrying about too much. But if it gets a bit unfair later on, we'll see what happens. Speaking of unfair, and speaking of moves being made, let's have a look at this from Kylian Drummond. So you can see riding on board, oh, beautiful, just absolute cream and almond through the middle there, splits the 2, down into the bus stop, and he's through it ahead.
That's just 100% commitment, 100% confidence. You need that to do well here. And the GT Series Nations Cup. Meanwhile, the scoreboard for the mid-pack continues. Jose Serrano gets by Kaida Brun, star so far, down 2 places from his qualifying position. And Gallo, unfortunately, at the head of his pack, still unable to make any headway really into Sasaki and Miyazono. So, just an FYI, if you're watching for the first time, you're wondering why he's got just bump drafting down the straight. But you're not allowed to do that. So, he's got to do it on pace alone, as they say. So, on board with Kaida Brun in that beautiful Ferrari F40, a little bit older than some of the cars around them, but still awesome to see it going now.
And also, if you're wondering why these cars are actually racing against one another, you're thinking, a car that's 20 years older than some of the other machineries, because we've got balance of performance. It gives us the opportunity to basically allow us to have a Lexus LFA fighting with a Ferrari F40, which in the real world you wouldn't get.
I feel sorry for Kai, because all we can hear right in front of him is the LFA. You can't hear his own car.
That wailing beat.
Yeah. What a noise that makes. Meanwhile, the fight for second continues between Miyazono and Sasaki. Now, what will Miyazono do this time? Sasaki's going to try the long way around again. Will carry more speed there, so he's gone, loses distance, carries more speed. He's in the draft of Miyazono, but not close. In the background, though, the fight for 4th place is really hotting up. Serrano looks like he's got by Gallo. No, he hasn't. Gallo dives back up the inside, retains 4th position for now, and this group is very slowly starting to catch the group in front, but it's not quick enough at the moment. Fastest lap so far belongs to Kylian Drummond, who's out on his own. He's pulled away from this pack. That is very impressive. in a circuit that is so dependent on slipstream.
Oh, kind of Brun looking with a bit of hip and shoulder on the inside there of Jose Serrano. Smattering of contact between the Lexus and the Ferrari. That might allow Cullen Roach into play there as well. Coming through into the final sector we go. Serrano with an offensive, tighter line. You see De Bruyne there using the throttle on, off, trying to find the right application of it. He eventually has to just sit in the wheel tracks of the Lexus for the time being. But has he got enough opportunity, enough momentum to have a lunge up the inside? No, thinks better of it for the time being. But they haven't got time on their side. They've got to be a bit careful about this because it's going to be counting down before they know it. We're already over the halfway stage.
Yeah, that F40 isn't looking too far mid-corner. He's stabbing that throttle, just trying desperately to get some rotation out of it, but just not able to do that whilst carrying any sort of tangible speed there. So this little second pack there, it's still formed of a few drivers. Coca Lopez at the back. So here's a replay. This is Sasaki and Miyazono. Was this for position? No, there's another bit of contact between them. Sasaki gets up the inside there of Miyazono and he makes a move up into P2. He missed that completely onto the battle, so our apologies there. But Sasaki does get by Miyazono then, finally, and now is able to chase Kylian Drummond. But I think already it's maybe a little bit too late.
Yeah, 2 seconds in, 3 laps. This is going to be a very tall order, that's for sure, for Takuma Sasaki. Valerio Gallo, Serrano, kind of Brun. You could throw a blanket over these 3 drivers at the moment. They are absolutely giving no quarter at the moment. You see De Bruyne darting up the slipstream. You can see Roach there in the background in the McLaren SLR trying to go through. Here comes Serrano. He's going to go past Valerio Gallo if he's not too careful. Down the back straight we go into the chicane. Gallo once again has track position. Does that upset Serrano's rhythm and allow De Bruyne maybe an opportunity from behind to try and attack? He's in a really unfortunate position here is Jose Serrano. Such is the close competition that we've got. He's having to look in his mirrors whilst trying to keep an eye on what Gallo's doing in front of him.
Yeah, really strong defending there from Gallo as well, just being very assertive with the positioning of the car, saying no, I'm going to just, it's my corner, I'm having the apex. And Serrano, through experience and through skill, I might add, just able to decipher that body language from Gallo in front and go, you know what, okay, I'll back out this time, I'll give it another go the next lap. But these guys are so close right now. At the back of this little pack, we haven't really spoke about it, we've got Callum Roach in the SLR McLaren and Cocaine Lopez, who are still part of this battle but just not able to move up in this train at the moment.
So down the back straight we go in towards this tight right hand, and there's a lot of medium speed corners on this circuit. There's not really any dive bomb opportunities in this part of the lap. You can see flicking it through the left hander, very much one at a time, one line corners through there, especially the elevation changes. You can see everybody running it really nicely and really clean. A lot of respectful racing going on, but no dive bombs being made. I gather though, as we get to the final few laps of this race, that's when we're going to start seeing moves being made.
On board now with Callum Roach in the SLR McLaren. I love this car, love seeing it out here and racing against a smattering of other awesome 90s and plus supercars. Great to see them all out here competing like this. If you're unfamiliar with what this race means, it is setting the position order for the race, the grand final. So if Kylian Drummond finishes first, he will be on pole position, and so on and so forth. So it's important. Any position counts here.
Certainly does. Miyazono then on the back of Takuma Sasaki through the right-hander we go, and he's really trying to challenge his compatriot now as we come down the back straight. Sasaki's pulling out of the slipstream. Look at that behind. It's like watching a darts game, isn't it? They're just throwing it through. On the inside there is Kai de Bruyne on Jose Serrano. A decisive move from the Dutchman as he goes up into 5th place, and now his next target is going to be Valerio Gallo. A little bit sideways mid-corner there for de Bruyne. Keep an eye out for that because he's had a few mid-corner moments. Gallo has a bit of a wiggle on the exit there as well, but he's just parking that car exactly where he needs to. Was there a bit of contact there into the left-hander? I think there was.
Yeah, sideways there. Kind of did a good job to get that back up again, but I get the sneaking suspicion there's going to be quite a big accident quite soon. If these guys keep going at this rate, Kai, they're really struggling. I think there might have been contact again from behind Jose Serrano. It might have been oversteer into the corner. It's hard to tell from that cockpit angle, but Kai now, I think, really struggling to keep that F40 pointing the right way. Now the background, Cocaine Lopez out looking for a move on Callum Roach. He gets through in the Porsche. Up into P7 then goes Cocaine Lopez, and Cocaine's not really done much this race. This guy is a very decorated GT driver. Oh, Callum Roach up the inside. Big lunge there. NASCAR style move from Callum Roach, moving Cocaine Lopez off the apex up into P. Oh, who is that?
In the background, that's the Ford GT going off the track. And that is Robbie Heck, the American driver in his home race, spinning out of contention and spinning out of a good starting position for the grand final.
What a shame there, but it just shows you how close and how aggressively these guys are racing. We're going on to the penultimate lap now, so it's all to play for. Drummond seemingly going to win it at the front, but beyond that, it's anybody's game. Sasaki and Miyazono still joined at the hip as they go up through the S's once more. Now we know that the F50 that Miyazono in that awesome yellow paint is not quite as quick as Sasaki in a straight line, but using the draft, he's able to stay with them, and then it's quicker in the corners. So unsurprisingly, there, penalty there for Jose Serrano for some contact with another car. Sasaki passing Miyazono, I think, there in the background.
Yeah, on the final lap. This is the incident which caused Robbie Henting plummeting down the order. So we've got in Australia. Oh, he lost it on his own. He just hit the white line on the inside, then spent the next time saving it. Got it back, saved it again, got it back, ended up getting biffed there. As well, for good measure, Miyazono versus Sasaki, part 3.
Miyazono up into second position, so he's overtaken Sasaki again there, just off camera. He just missed it during the replay. So now Sasaki is back in third position in the Maserati. Great fight between these two. Here is the replay. Yeah, Sasaki just up the hill here, and Miyazono using the slipstream to try and get back through, but I then think just lost it again coming through here. But great images between the two here.
Yeah, brilliant racing then as we come through the final series of corners. Look at this, side by side we go. Down into the right-hander, Sasaki on the inside, Miyazono on the outside. Maserati versus Ferrari, the two Japanese drivers giving absolutely no quarter, and Sasaki is back through ahead of Miyazono with just a couple more corners now remaining. Through the left we go, and surely this one goes to Sasaki unless he makes a mistake. He runs it onto the grass, onto the curb. Is that now a bit of an opportunity ready for Miyazono to try and pounce as we flick it through the left-hander? Kylian Drummond's 5 seconds up the road. He's going to win this one. We come through the final corner. Miyazono's going to try and out-drag Sasaki, but he's not going to have the opportunity. Sasaki's very, very close as Kylian Drummond takes the checkered flag and the victory. We come across the timing line then to begin the final lap. Actually, I beg your pardon, as we head down to the first corner. So Sasaki it is, with Miyazono very close behind.
Yeah, Drummond so far in the lead there, and Tom called the end of the race. That's how it's going, but we are still going. And in that Gallo gets back through past Serrano. So Gallo up into P4, but now Sasaki and Miyazono, this is their last opportunity. And then they've been scrapping the whole race. They know each other's moveset by now, but Miyazono looking to the outside. It's going to be very brave to go around the outside here. He does get it done with the slipstream, which puts Sasaki now back into third place. Coque Lopez now, by the way. Oh, it's all going on down here.
Look at this. Guy Barbara, Valerio Gallo, Kai de Bruyne, Coque Lopez is up in a 4th place now as well. Guy Barbara, Kai de Bruyne, and then you've got Valerio Gallo and John Carrazza all in the mix here as well. It's kicked off massively on this final lap, and somehow Lopez is up in a 4th place. You've got lunges being made left, right and centre as we come through this left-hander into the final sector.
Yeah, Lopez lost the car there down the bottom there, so now Kai de Bruyne back in there. Miyazono is now still defending here from Sasaki. These guys are still nose to tail. It's all going on everywhere on the circuit, with Drummond seemingly going to take this victory. They're side by side coming down the bottom here. Miyazono up the inside. Sasaki's going to try the long way around. Can he make it stick? No, not quite. Miyazono ahead with only 3 corners left.
This is super close between these two. Gallo and Lopez are under investigation for a collision as well. Miyazono parks the car on the apex, blocks any opportunity there for Sasaki to try and go through. We come in towards the final series of corners. Once again, this time around it will be the checkered flag as Miyazono once again takes an offensive line and Sasaki tries to attack. Drummond will take the victory and pole position for the grand final. The Frenchman does it in commanding style at Watkins Glen. It's a drag to the line for second, and Takuma Miyazono does take second place ahead of Sasaki, but it's not over further back. Lopez then will take 4th ahead of De Bruyne, Rhodes, Gallo, Barbara, Carrazza and Serrano down in 10th place on the final lap. Wow, what a dramatic end to the sprint race there, JB.
That was a certified Watkins Glen moment right there. That was such good, close racing.
I got a P3. I streamed it. How about you?
35 laps of action to come here tonight for the grand final of the Nations Cup. 12 drivers on the grid, but only one winner for World Series 1 here in Montreal. And here is how the field will be set. It is Kylian Drumont, the Frenchman, who starts on pole position, a fan favourite here tonight. Takuma Miyazono will line up alongside him on that front row of the grid. His compatriot Takuma Sasaki heads row 2. Alongside him is Koke Lopez, the former champion. Next up, you've got Kai de Bruyne, the Dutchman. Can he do well in the X2019? Well, they have Killen Roach hot on his heels. Next up, you've got Valerio Gallo, another former champion, 7th on the grid for him. Guy Barbara, the Australian, lines up in 8th position. On the fringe of the top 10, Adriano Carrazza, 9th place, all the work for him to do. And likewise, Jose Serrano didn't go his way in the sprint race. He lines up right down the back of the field.
I'm going to check it out. I got P6. I was battling all race for page 3 and lost it last lap.
So 3 tyre compounds available, 35 laps of action. Kylian Drumont on the soft tyres there, JB. He wants to go and get as much of a gap as he can possible early on.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar with the tyre strategies in these World Series events, the soft tyre is a statement of intent. It's saying, I'm going to go fast very quickly at the start of this race. Do not get in my way. And interestingly, only, as you said, Kylian Drumont opting for that, with Miyazono, Sasaki, Lopez and de Bruyne from 2nd to 5th, all opting for that slower medium compounded tyre. Callum Roach, also interesting, in that hard in P6, so we'll see how that pans out for him.
Well, a very fast-paced race is what we're expecting. 35 laps of action in qualifying. They were doing sub-1 minute laps. I wonder what it would look like under rated conditions, and I am wondering who will be claiming 6 points and the checkered flag in those 35 laps time. It's Kylian Drumont, the man who won the sprint race a few moments ago, who starts on pole position, but will he be taking the checkered flag here at Road Atlanta? It's World Series 1 for the Nations Cup. The grand final begins.
I can't drive those cars way too fast for me.
First corner, followed by Miyazono, and look at Lopez already dragging alongside Takuma Sasaki and taking 3rd place down into the first corner. So Lopez with a bold statement of intent, moving up a position already as he sets his sights firmly on Takuma Miyazono for 2nd.
Yes, Sasaki definitely caught napping there as Gallo does the same to Callum Roach behind, goes up into P6, but Lopez already up into P3. That's important to do that early. If you think you have the pace, try and get out front early and try and get those lap times in, make the best of a tyre on. Drumont, Miyazono, Lopez and Sasaki are your order as we go onto the back straight for the first time. Here, I would say, is the first real overtaking opportunity, but Carrazza down in P7 has already made up 2 places from his qualifying position in 9th. He likes to come back, does Carrazza, so we'll see how he does as the race. Coming down the bottom of the lap for the first time, heavy braking downhill here, be careful of that. Then very tricky right-hander, try and be careful the front over the crest, and that is 1 lap done here at Road Atlanta. The pace is frantic already.
Yeah, you can see just how fast they're moving around this circuit. You can see how much it funnels down and goes 1 at a time through that chicane as well. You've got an opportunity to go 2 by 2 down that back straight. Look at this, hard tyre runners, Roach, Barbara, Inestrosa, Heck, all into the pits at the end of this first lap. The hard tyre's lava, they want to get off it and onto the softs.
Yeah, so people coming in for that time, you're wondering why they're doing only 1 lap on this hard compounded tyre. Well, the regulations say you have to use 1 tyre. Each tyre is 1 story, and it doesn't say how long you have to be on the tyre. So if the hard compounded tyre is a 2nd lap slow, you know what, in the bin.
Penalties coming in for Takuma Miyazono. Valerio Gallo at the start of the 2nd lap. Is that track limits? It must be, yeah, half a second there for me. Into the clutches, and if not, allow Koke Lopez to get past him. He's coming into the penalty zone, is Takuma Miyazono. What about Lopez? He's going to go cascading on through and says thanks very much and goes into 2nd place then. So the Spaniard having a quite brilliant start to this race, and now he's got his sights firmly set on Kylian Drumont.
Koke Lopez is comfortably the most experienced man here out of anyone in the field. This guy's he's done 63 races he's done at these live events. He knows how to win races, he knows how to win championships. So yeah, definitely any move to be made, he will make it. On board Sasaki, what a great camera view this thing. A real sense of speed of this thing. I drove this thing around to yesterday, and I've got to tell you, it is very difficult to keep up with this thing. It's incredibly quick for this section.
You can see that you can't go 2 by 2. It's 1 at a time through that section of the lap. Then it begins to open out a little bit, but there's not that many heavy.
Wish I could more. I ran the 450 first series race I've even done.
Miyazono versus Sasaki, they were knocking 7 bells out of each other in the sprint race here earlier on tonight, and now they're close to one another, nose to tail on track. But Miyazono darts out of the slipstream here of Koke Lopez as we come down the back straight. Miyazono's got the inside line, he's got track position, but does he have the overspeed on Lopez to get 2nd place back? He does. So Miyazono firmly asserting his dominance over the Spaniards.
Your draft is so strong in these cars. You might notice, look how front. Look who's managed to break that draft already on that soft tyre, Kylian Drummond. So watch out for Kylian. He needs to put in some very quick laps now, but we'll check in with him later. Meanwhile, on board still with Takuma Sasaki. This time it's Coco Lopez. He's looking to back off and not his countryman, Takuma Miyazono.
Kind of work do you do? I'm a strength and conditioning coach. They are fun. How many beans you can't say I could do with one ice cream?
These drivers. Look at the back of Sasaki. Look who's managed to catch him back up. It's Kai de Bruyne. Out of nowhere comes the Dutch driver. Lifts up the inside here. Ins along to the straight. And Kai de Bruyne up into 4th place there. Just biding his time. Made the pass. But now he's going to be giving that draft to Sasaki behind him.
Yeah, lunging onto the scene and lunging.
These cars are too fast.
And Sasaki's trying to repay the favour as we come down this back straight. Bit of a tap of the lights there for De Bruyne as we head down into there. But you can see him feathering the throttle here to give us Sasaki. He doesn't want to go past. He wants to use the slip through to his advantage. I wonder, because we're expecting this to be a bit of a fuel consumption race as well, if he's just trying to save a little bit of fuel in these early stages as well.
Yeah, Stewart seeming thinking something to investigate there between the two drivers. I don't think so. It's just hard racing from there. But going back up the hill here, and already the gap between De Bruyne and Lopez. You see this going on. Here's a replay actually a bit further down the hill. This is Serrano and Carranza. So Serrano gets past Carranza, just getting a little moment off that curb that we see. I saw him in qualifying make that same mistake. It's very tricky to put down 800 horsepower with no traction control at that corner.
Yeah, especially with the aerodynamics are not working at their optimum, because of course you're not going that quick coming out of that particular turn on the track. Very aero dependent and very aero efficient cars, these machines. You can see Lopez there now down in 3rd place, 7/10 of a second. He's sort of dropping off the back of Miyazono at this point. Sasaki's down into 5th position then at this point. De Bruyne's up into 4th place. Down this back straight we go. Sasaki with now more work to do than he was anticipating at this stage, especially given where the Japanese driver started. But De Bruyne is on an absolute flyer here. He's right onto the back of Coque Lopez. They're both on the same competitive tyre. It's not like De Bruyne's got an advantage with tyre comfort. He's got a phenomenal amount of pace. He's got the inside line. Can he lunge into T1? That was audacious from Kai De Bruyne as he goes up into 3rd place.
Those sort of moves are just 100% commitment. Kai had already decided before it even got past Lopez that I'm going for this move. And if he turns in, he turns in. But Kai needs to do that. He's got pace right now. He cannot afford to have that pace hindered by the cars in front of him. The Coque Lopez, very quick driver, but I wouldn't say in these cars he's the quickest in the field.
Just to give you an idea of the difference in terms of pace between De Bruyne and Lopez. Lopez last time around a 1 minute flat, 7.94. Kai De Bruyne a 1 minute flat, 1.62. 6/10 of a second faster. In these cars around this lap, that's a 4 nights worth of pace.
And that is the fastest lap of the race, even faster than Drummond on the soft compound tyre.
Well, it's not over yet, is it? This one, Kai De Bruyne. Kai De Bruyne and Sasaki under investigation. So I wonder whether that's what caused Sasaki to go down the order. Let's have a look and see what happens later on as this continues on.
That's no further action.
Right, sorry, big pardon.
No further action there, so the steward's sinking it, that's fine. And we go back to some amazing battle. 290 kilometers an hour for the Apex in T1. I cannot imagine the size of these virtual drivers and their necks are through there. They're massive. But what happened there? Sasaki just proved, I think Lopez got on the curb a little bit there.
Yeah, quite possibly, unless they said no further action, unless there was a bit of contact that we didn't see and Lopez has just been legitimately thinking of letting off. I don't think that would be the case, but again, we didn't see exactly what happened. Anyway, it now sits with Sasaki in 4th place, Lopez in 5th, in 3rd place.
Interestingly, Tom, sorry, I'm just looking at the timings. Miyazono.
I gotta get my kids to bed and have a great stream goal. This was fun to watch Victory Hand.
Those soft tyres are starting to go the other way. Maybe the medium tyres are time to be on around here.
Well, we're expecting the tyre distance to be about 7 laps or so, weren't we? We were expecting the mediums to be the favoured bit of rubber underneath these drivers. And Valerio Gallo there sitting in 6th place at the moment. Not having too bad of a run. Got a good view of this battles up front. In contention for the podium places at this stage at the moment. This is what we are used to seeing in these longer formats of races. It starts off quite frantic, it gets a little bit quiet in the middle stages. Really picks up towards the end, so the strategies begin to unfold in front of us.
I think just all that curve there and a bit more on some of the grass on the entryway in there. You know what? If it works, it works. And if the stewards don't say it's within track limits, then it's all free real estate. So following Valerio Gallo as he closed onto the back of Coque Lopez. Lopez had a great start there, managed to get up to third place initially, but since then he maybe lost a little bit of the pace and is starting to fall back down the field again. Drumont managing to lap a bit quicker that time around than Miyazono, but they're just trading lap times, so it's interesting to see that soft tyre not quite performing at this stage of the stint.
No, just see Kylian Drumont there, 2.3 seconds the advantage he has on that soft commoner tyres. Is he going to be coming in within a lap or so? Goes round this time, carrying on with those tyres. 1 minute flat 7.03. He was half a second slower than Miyazono last time around.
So maybe.
Let's have a listen here to Lopez.
You're very welcome. I appreciate all your support.
Well, fascinating to hear there from Coque Lopez. Really good to get a bit of backstory about the driver, the former Nations Cup champion, as he sits in 5th position. Right behind him, though, is another former champion, Valerio Gallo. Look at the tyres on the rear of Kylian Drumont, down to 23%. They're going to be feeling pretty second-hand at this stage, and they're going to be going down at a fast rate of knots. He carries on in the lead of the race for another run round. Does the Frenchman at the moment.
He's got a box. He's got a box soon. He's doing 108 right now, so sorry, 1 minute 8.8 there, right? But that's still 6 tenths slower a lap. I mean, look at the gap in the front, 1.6 seconds now between Miyazono and Drumont. I think if he stays out on this soft time any longer, he's going to risk ruining his strategy here, because Miyazono is able to keep that pace on a tyre that is worse than Drumont. There you go. You see the gap there coming down a second in 2 laps. Drumont needs to respond to this.
So Drumont then through that right-hander. This is where he's going to be really feeling the pain of the poor traction of those very worn soft tyres on the exit of that corner. Kylian Drumont just going to not be feeling good at all. Look at that rear left, down to 12%. The rear right is absolutely fine. Inestrosa going into the pit lane then, so he's gone for the medium tyres. Where is he going to emerge and on what tyre as well? I know he's a bit of a way down the order and out of sequence, but I'm just keen to see what his strategy is. He goes for the soft tyre then in the middle stint. Drumont has to come in, otherwise he's going to end up sending it into the barrier, I am sure. Miyazono carries on the medium compounds. Now, where will Drumont go in the middle stint?
Then we saw that he had a really bad pit entry there. He I think just got out of shape going into the pit lane. So those rear tyres there just burn. He goes on to another set of the soft tyres. So that's at least a free stop then it's going to be from Kylian Drumont. And I think that's going to be the fastest way around here, Tom.
Yeah. I think that you're absolutely right. Go for the hard tyre as late as you possibly can. Try and get those, like we saw with Igor Fraga actually in the Manufacturers' Cup earlier on tonight. Just try and do a 1-lap dash on those and have as little time on it as you possibly can. See De Bruyne and Sasaki all over each other like a cheap suit at the moment as they try to find their way past one another and navigate around this fantastic Road Atlanta circuit over the crest of the hill. Sasaki there looking for an inside line. He's in the slipstream there, pulls out a bit from Kai De Bruyne, so doesn't want to get himself ahead of the Dutchman at the moment. Just to stay his wheel tracks. Do that left and then the right hander we go up over the crest of the hill. These medium tyres still holding on pretty nicely as it stands there. That one's a little bit slower than we saw earlier on, but nonetheless it's still pretty good.
They're still lapping quicker than Drumont was when he boxed. So Miyazono though, the pace very, very strong out of on the field for Takuma Miyazono. Comfortably the quickest man out of the first 5 cars. Serrano actually the quickest man on track on that last lap, down in 6th place, but not quite making his way to the front of the field just yet. So with Valerio Gallo right in the wheel tracks and dumping Coque Lopez. Now he just got a warning for that, and I just saw him do it again there right on camera. So that, I'm not sure what the stewards are going to say about that. I don't think it was. It's a tricky one because you don't want to lose momentum, and you can do that by giving the guy in front a little bit of a tap, but if you do that you might also risk damaging the cars.
That in front as well, you've got De Bruyne versus Sasaki, and he keeps doing it. This Valerio Gallo, the stewards were coming down with him like a ton of bricks. Lopez decides to get out of it. He lifts off the throttle down this back straight, says thanks very much, and lets Gallo back through. He wants absolutely no part of what's going on at the moment, does Coque Lopez, and I wonder whether Gallo may be under investigation once more and possibly being set for a penalty here, because the stewards have seen now another 3 instances of that over the course of that last lap.
Yeah, you can get away with it once or twice, but after that maybe not. But we'll see. I mean, I hope we don't get a penalty because I want to see the race started on the circuit, but that's just how things are. There are rules for a reason. Still on board with the Italian Valerio Gallo. Pace is good for him on this pit stint. 1 minute 0.2 last lap, so very, very quick at the moment. He's got the bit between his teeth, and now looking to try and close in on Sasaki and Kai de Buren, who I think his effort has, I say, it's not fallen off. He's still 1 minute point 4 last lap. Interestingly, a mistake, I think, from Miyazono last lap. A 101.1, which is about half a second slower than he has been doing over the course of this race. Sasaki looking to the inside of Kai de Buren, up the inside goes the Japanese driver up into P2. Now, can he catch his fellow countryman?
Beautiful block pass there from Sasaki as he came through the chicane. He's coming around that right hand, a tighter line though, and de Bruyn's not going to take this line down. He's going to try and do exactly what he did last time on Lopez. He goes for the move on the inside and goes through back into second. Kai de Buren, fantastic bit of commitment he's got through that first corner, and that's left Sasaki under threat here from Valerio Gallo. Look at him pushing the rear of the Japanese driver's car. You've got to be so careful, especially through these high-speed corners. Any wheel-to-wheel contact, and it's straight off to the single crash. Lopez there going through on Gallo, and you can see Roach there as well. He's out of position down in 11th place. So what's happened there to Callum Roach? Because he's set in 11th place. He's already a lap down. Something's gone wrong there for the American.
He's made 2 stops at this point, and it is a very short lap, but I'm not quite sure what happened. I think Lopez isn't the sort to run into the back of someone. Maybe Roach just got a bit out of position there. Roach now trying to unlap himself from Coca Lopez. We don't really get many instances of cars being lapped around him. Lapping up the inside, and now...
The thing is, this is going to cost Lopez time. Callum Roach, he's well entitled to do that. You can unlap yourself, but Lopez is going to be, well, mad at the polar bear and the Canaries after this one, because it's ruining his race at this stage. And look at the gap now that's been presented between himself and Sasaki. It's up to half a second. Now he's got all of that hard work to do again with a fast and furious American behind him.
Stewart's going to be busy on this one, I think. But yeah, what an interesting scenario, because we've never had a lap that's been this quick in these cars. And if you boxed twice earlier, which is what Callum Roach has done to try and have a fast run later on, then you can end up being a lap down. But honestly, at this point, I don't know what the rules are.
Right, let's see what the stewards do.
Another bit of contact.
Yeah, the thing is, it's too forceful, isn't it? If you're trying to lap yourself, fair enough, but you can't go and crash into the other side of the other driver. And you see, he picks up a warning there for colliding with another car, and I wonder whether it's going to be long before we see the stewards coming down on this like a Gallo. Look at this now. Gallo's trying to take advantage, trying to get his move done on the inside of Roach. Oh, this is getting very scrappy indeed. Lopez getting hung out to dry here. More hip and shoulder, more contact, and Serrano is coming through on his countryman as well, and does so for 4th place. So Serrano, in all of that drama, now moves on to the back of Takuma Sasaki for 3rd.
All this does is benefit Miyazono and Kai de Buren, who are just outside of this battle. But yeah, I don't really know. It seems that it's just desperation from Callum Roach, because he's a lap down. He knows he's got pace in the tyres, but he can't do anything with it because he's stuck in this drain. So I mean, Miyazono there, a track limit penalty for our leader, so that's going to help Kai de Buren a second. That's a massive penalty. This might allow Kai to have a run coming down to the bottom, so he'll cross the line, serves the 1 second penalty. Look in the mirrors there, look at the rear view mirror, that is Kai de Buren right behind us, closing up at a rate of knots. Won't quite be close enough for a move, but just like that, a 2.2 second gap is down to 4 tenths, and a mistake there from Kai straight away. I think he got a bit too excited, a bit too quickly there.
Bit of target fixation. Miyazono decides to just sack off that lap, comes into the pit lane then on the medium tyres, and decides to get a new set of boots on. That leaves de Bruyn out in front to lead a Gran Turismo World Series race for the first time in 2024, as Miyazono goes then onto the soft compound of tyre. Karatza also in as well from the mediums. Where's he going to go? Where's Drumont? There is our earlier race leader. Thankfully for him, he's kept out of all of the drama that unfolded in front of him, where we saw Roach getting involved in the action.
Where's Miyazono? So Drumont comes round now on the exit and comes out ahead of Miyazono. That's very important for Kylian Drumont. So good pace there for Drumont on that second stint. And there is Miyazono. That's a big gap there between Drumont and Miyazono. 7 seconds Drumont has pulled on that stint. Just on that soft compound of tyre, so it's looking like it's going the way of the Frenchman at the moment, but he does still owe some more tyres. So let's see a replay of what happened here.
Gallo versus Lopez up over the right. That's the moment there for Gallo. Whoa! Okay. Thankfully, no cars following him and collecting him in that, but that could have been a bit more messy. Kai de Bruyn, former race leader, now into the pits, off the medium tyres. Where's he going to go in his strategy? Most people have gone soft in the middle stints. And indeed, he does have a soft on then. So Kai de Bruyn goes into the pits and will emerge where? That's the question. We can set good pace actually in this middle stint of the race. It's looked pretty good so far, as the Dutchman. Look at the rest of the field though. They're all involved in traffic. You've got, oh hang on a minute, Callum Roach right in front of Takuma Sasaki. Right behind them you've got Serrano and Lopez. You've got Di Barbara lunging to the inside as well of Serrano. The thing is, I get it, they're involved in their own battle further down the order. They're entitled to be involved in their own race, but you can't go and compromise somebody else's.
I can tell you right now there's going to be some words after this race between the drivers, I think, because it's just one of these difficult situations where if you are in the lead, I mean, we do operate to the blue flag rule here, and you are entitled to overtake if you're quicker, but it's to the point where they're interfering so much that it's changing the outcome of the race. Sasaki at the moment, so this is interesting. Sasaki, I think, is still stuck behind Callum Roach, or was last time we checked anyway. And this all goes in favour of Miyazono and Drummond, who are not currently sort of stuck in this train.
So then, over the rise we go. There is Jose Serrano. Takuma Sasaki, your race leader as it stands for the time being. Drummond there in fourth place. He's got 5.5 seconds of a gap now over Takuma Miyazono. And it's looking quite nice here for Drummond. Of course, slightly older, softer compound of tyre, but that should be okay for him. Don't forget, they have to run every compound of tyre in this race. They must run the hards, the mediums, and the softs. There is Jose Serrano, seeing the real tracks of Takuma Sasaki. I suppose the one advantage here for Sasaki is he's not having to punch the hole in the air in front of him. He's getting a bit of a slipstream here, which might be a bit helpful.
Let's check his lap time if he stays out. Will he stay out for one lap? He does. Lap time, his last time around was a 101.4 on the slow end. This lap, a 101 minute 0.7, so an okay lap time for mediums in that part of the stint. Oh, and Sasaki almost wanted that curve on the outside. Every time I see that, I cringe a bit. I think how many times I've gone through there, touched that curve though, and gone wild on it, and we're just showing you how difficult these cars were here. Inestrosa and Robbie Heck behind now. The second place Serrano trying to find their way through on their strategies, of course, but a lap down. So what does Serrano do in this situation? You don't want to let him bike, you lose time, but you don't want to risk being lunge for one of these guys like that. And Ango Inestrosa, I think, either having contact with Serrano or being punted himself in the background, it's carnage. These cars are very fast around this circuit. And there's Coque Lopez now trying to find his way through. Do these guys get blue flagged or what? What's the rule here?
Yeah, well, it's under investigation. Also, no further action, I should say, there between Gallo and Lopez for that collision that we saw a little bit earlier on. Oh, this is just, you can feel the heart sinking for Coque Lopez here because he's right behind these two drivers who are squabbling, quite rightly, for their own positions at the moment, and it's just costing him time. Serrano comes into the pit lane then at the end of the 21st lap. Lopez doesn't. Well, he had no choice though, did he really? I wonder if that forced his hand.
I wonder if Drummond and Miyazono sort of foresaw this. And I was like, okay, you know what, we're going to box and not get involved in any of this. Interesting, that gap between Drummond and Miyazono. It was about 6 seconds when Drummond, who has just actually come back into the pit lane. So he's come off that soft compound of tyre. I think he realised that the tyre doesn't last quite as long as he wanted. Now, will we see the medium compound of tyre come on here? We do see that medium compound of tyre. Now, will we take that for 13 laps? I think it will last that long quite comfortably, then go on to the hard tyre for the last stint.
Yeah. So, no further action there with Inestrosa versus Robbie Heck for their collision. Out on track, the stewards decided that all's fair in love and war as it stands. So, Sasaki, the only driver who hasn't made a pit stop in this race, just to remind you, he's managed to run those medium tyres, I should say, 21 laps from the start of this race, which is mightily impressive, but I bet you they're going to be feeling pretty clapped out now, and he'll come to the pits, and indeed he does. That is going to release Takuma Miyazono to the lead of this race. Now, where does Sasaki go in terms of his strategy? He's been on the mediums. Does he go for the soft in the middle stint and try and run the hards right at the very end, or does he do a middle stint on the hards? He does do a middle stint on the hards. Now, how long is he going to run this for? You'd imagine one lap, one and done, then stick the softs on for the end of the race.
We have had 2 drivers on this stint, 3 drivers finally dip below the 1 minute mark. Kylian Drummond, fastest lap from him on the soft tyre, and that last time was a 59.5, so getting quite close to qualifying pace there. These guys really on it right now. These moments of clear air for Miyazono, for Kylian Drummond, this is where the race is going to be won or lost. So right now, we look at all the gaps. Drummond's in clean air. Miyazono is out front. There's no one in front of him now. He can just drive into that on that soft compound of tyre, and we know his pace is good. He's going to want sub 1 minute laps every lap now. Qualifying pace is needed for Miyazono who wants to win this race.
So, on board here we are with Coque Lopez. Up front there is Takuma Sasaki through that right-hander. There you go. You've got Kaida Brun. Got too far up the road there as well. Just in front of them, I think that's a bit of back traffic once again in this race, isn't it?
Looks like it, yeah.
In fact, is that Jose Serrano? Difficult to tell from this angle as we come down this back street. You see Lopez there closing up onto the back and lunges his way to the inside for fourth place. Decisive there then for Lopez. Obviously he's on the soft copper tyre compared to Sasaki's hard, but that just goes to show you how much more grip he's got under braking.
Yeah, I mean, that was just easy move for Coque Lopez. Up into P4 now. This is Coque Lopez's favourite place. He loves the P4, does Coque Lopez. So we're sort of hovering around here. Good last lap from him, 59.7. So the pace is there for the Spaniard in the X2019. Is it enough to catch his fellow countryman? Callum Roach, though, is between them at the moment. So that might help him cinch it up to him as it is. So here are the current tyre stats so far. Miyazono has taken the medium and the soft, as have the other top four runners. A reminder, you do have to use every compound of tyre. Only person, the people who've done that so far are the bottom four, which is maybe the reason we've seen them being lapped.
So, lap 23 out of 35. Miyazono still leading this race. He's on the soft compound tyre as it stands. He's setting very fast lap times. Another 59.9. He's the only driver aside from Coque Lopez who was in the 59s last time around. But here is the man who is trying to challenge him for that victory. He's kept himself out of trouble, out of harm's way. Crucially, out of all that lap traffic drama that we saw early on as well. It's Kylian Drumont, the man who started this one on pole position, and that is going to be music to the ears of him. Look at that clear air in front of him. It's very hard to come by here at this Road Atlanta circuit, but at the moment he's lapping it up and doing a superb job. Probably the only thing I can foresee for him is he's got Valerio Gallo on the soft carbon tyre behind. Both, though, roughly about the same sort of time. The fact is, Drumont last time around was a 59.8, and that is exactly the same time that Gallo was setting on the soft compound tyre.
Yeah, so I mean, you can just see the pace of these guys right now. This is basically the hot lapping part of the race. Everyone's finding a little bit of space. Everyone knows the car right now. Everyone knows what they're capable of. And they just need to be putting in these quick laps. It's take an analogy from F1 as Schumacher Hungary from whatever year that was. 98. You know, it's that. You have to just get your head down and just perform, get those results. And these guys, they're the best drivers in the world in Gran Turismo. So many of them now dipping under 1 minute for a whole lap of Road Atlanta. The pace here is unreal.
10 laps to go there here at Road Atlanta for the grand final of the Nations Cup. Kind of room we ride on board with him. Is he bob on for a podium? Let's find out a little bit more about the man behind the mask. No, we won't. We'll do that a little bit later on, because you can see Kind of Brun sitting there in second place. There is Takuma Miyazono, 3.8 seconds, 3.6 seconds now up the road. Looking pretty interesting, this one.
Kind of Brun's captain.
He is.
He's captain. This would be amazing for the Dutch driver. One of the youngest drivers here is Kind of Brun, but you wouldn't know that from his driving. Very mature driving style, very fast as well. And I think at the moment he has the pace capable of catching one of the best GT drivers in the world, Takuma Miyazono. Here is Adriano Corazza, again driving from a poor grid position. P9 he started, up in P6 now, so decent comeback so far, but I just don't think he has the pace to really challenge that.
That means that their tyres are absolutely cooked. They've got to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Sasaki comes into the box then, off of the hard tyres on this middle stint in the race. He goes for the softs right to the very end of this one then. So Sasaki's done all three tyre compounds. Now he can run to the checkered flag. What about the likes of Takuma Miyazono, Kind of Brun, and in fact all the drivers in front of Sasaki and Drumont, actually, for that matter, as Drumont comes into the pits for his final stint in this race. Where's he going to go? Medium tyres then for him. Just quite happy with those medium tyres. He's deciding not to change them with 9 laps to go.
Okay, just an update on some of the rules questions we asked a bit earlier on. And it's basically, if you get a blue flag, you have to get out of the way. We don't have that information, whether they've been shown blue flags or not, but you are allowed to retake or re-unlap yourself at the pace to do so.
So then, here is Drumont coming down through, just sitting all on his own at the moment. Where is he in terms of his lap times? Last time around, of course, he was a little bit slower, 1:06.4, because he came into the pit. Oh, look at the wall! Kylian Drumont's thrown it away! I don't believe it! The Frenchman coming out of the pit lane, made a pit stop for more fuel, stayed on the medium compound of tyres, and he sends it into the barrier on his outlap.
That has handed this race to Takuma Miyazono on a platter, on a massive sigh, collective sigh here at the venue in Montreal. Sad to see it end that way. Here's a replay of what happened. So we're on board with Drumont. Comes onto the curb there, turns in, just gets in the curb a bit too much. You just can't save it at that point. The car goes off, and Drumont will be absolutely kicking himself down there. What a way for that to end.
Such a shame for Kylian Drumont. Now, look at this, battle for second between De Bruyne and Serrano then. Down the start-finish room we go. Serrano's going to send it on the inside. Oh, fantastic from Jose Serrano as he takes the lead at the start of lap 28 to the delight of the crowd. Miyazono into the pits then, onto the hard compound of tyres on lap 28. Surely he's going to want to run this for as short as he possibly can. But, I mean, you're looking a bit confused with that one, JB.
Yeah, it's an odd place to take the hard tyre. I mean, you can run soft to the end here, you can run mediums to the end here. To take the hard tyre, it just feels like there's a bit of a miscalculation there from Miyazono. So what I would like to see is that lovely little tyre graphic we have showing what's been run by each driver so far, so we can better understand what's going on. Here we are then. So Miyazono, yeah, he's going to go on that hard tyre. He doesn't have to stop again. I mean, you could come in again for another soft tyre, but it doesn't seem right to me. Serrano, who's currently out front, also has to box for that hard compounder tyre, but on this pace he's on, if he can eat this out right to the end and dip for the hard tyre right at the end of the race, he has a chance of winning this.
Well, every other driver in front has to run the hard compound of tyre, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Kai De Bruyne there into the pit lane, so where does he go from the soft compound tyre? He goes on to the hard as well, so are they just going to run the hards to the end of this race, or are they going to try and get them off as soon as they possibly can? At the moment, it's looking okay. Kylian Drumont on the recovery after sending it into the barrier. He's had a sequence, though. He's a lap down on Coque Lopez. Lopez sitting in second place at the moment. It's a Spanish 1-2 with just 6 laps remaining. As De Bruyne comes out of the pits, he's going to be net on for a podium as it stands now here in World Series 1 in 2024. He's driven a quite superlative race. I don't want to jinx it because I know what the commentator's curse is like, but he's having a fantastic run of things so far.
Just looking at the lap times right now, what I would like to see is a lap time for Miyazono on this hard compounder tyre. So we'll keep an eye on that because that's going to be pivotal. That pace on that hard tyre is going to decide this race for Takuma Miyazono. Right now, Serrano blistering lap times to him, low 59s from Jose Serrano. So he knows this still counts. He knows he has to push now. Coque Lopez also putting in some decent lap times, just not quite as quick as his fellow countrymen. There is Takuma Miyazono. There is Kai De Bruyne. So that is the race for them now. They're both on hards to the end of the race, so it's going to be a straight fight. Serrano again well into the 59s. I'm still waiting for Miyazono to come through the last part of the lap to see what sort of pace he's on. I think what he needs to be maybe is within a low 1 minute lap time. Anything more than that, it's a 1 minute .6 for Takuma Miyazono, which is not a bad lap on that hard compounder tyre, but it's 8 tenths slower than the current leader.
Yeah, Serrano and Lopez still eking it out on that soft compound tyre. You can see the rears, though, getting pretty second-hand, to be honest with you. So I wonder whether they'll be coming in at the end of lap 30 for a new set of boots for the hard tyres to the end of this race. What does Serrano do? No, goes round again.
I would do exactly the same thing. I would that tyre for as long as possible, the hard for the littlest time, because he's still capable of doing these sub 1 minute laps. Every lap he's doing that, he's building that gap to Miyazono or closing it depending on the aggro. We don't really know where he sits right now, which is quite an exciting thing, but again, Miyazono, yeah, about 6 to 8 tenths a lap slower at the moment. So
it's going to be close, isn't it? It's going to be really very close at the end of this one. I hope you're excited for this as much as we are here in the commentary box. So a Spanish 1-2 at the moment. They both got the hard competitive tyre. They both got their final pit stops left to run in this race. There's Valerio Gallo. He's up the road in 6th position, and this has been a fantastic race from Jose Serrano, part of the Spanish team which won the Nations Cup last year, along with Paul Ura and Coque Lopez, of course. And Serrano continuing where he left off.
These guys are now to win races. They are the Spanish contingent here in the GT World Series are all massively decorated, extremely quick, extremely consistent. Musical Coque, consistency Lopez, and he comes into the bits now to, I think, come onto that hard tyre for the last part of his stint. But a good drive so far from Lopez, I think. The best he probably could have done from where he was in the grid. Got a bit caught up mid-race with some of the laps cars there, which I think has sort of hindered his charge somewhat, but still a great drive. Again, Serrano still in under a minute on those worn tyres. What can Miyazono do?
Well, Lopez here was lapping pretty similar to Jose Serrano, but he was about 5 seconds or so back. So I wonder where he's going to emerge in relation to Miyazono and Kai de Bruyne. That will be the proof in the pudding for where Serrano is going to emerge. Let's have a look and see what happens. Through the first corner we go. Miyazono goes through up into second. That's to be expected, but where is Lopez going to come out of the pit? How far behind Miyazono, or indeed will he be behind Kai de Bruyne as we start the 32nd lap? Lopez there, 2.9 seconds away. It's going to be pretty close, but look at Serrano. He's now built that gap up to 31 seconds.
Has this been a masterclass from Serrano? He comes into the box now for his final pit stop, has to take that hard compounder tyre. 32 seconds was the gap as he came into the pits. Will he get out before Miyazono crosses the line and overtakes? This is now everything for this race. These mechanics chucking on a set of the new hard Michelin tyres. Serrano exits the pit lane. Where is Takuma Miyazono on the track map? He's still going through the last chicane. There's Miyazono now. Where is Serrano? Miyazono coming around the last corner. Serrano now exiting the pit lane. Where is he? Across the line. Still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. There he is. Is Serrano out in front? He is! Jose Serrano out in front of Takuma Miyazono. What a step! From the Spanish driver, and now it's a straight fight between two of the quickest GT drivers in the world.
The only thing I will say, Serrano's will get temperature into those tyres as we come through these first few corners. It's fast and flowing, and that's where Miyazono will be able to use the extra speed. He needs to go now, as soon as he can, to give Miyazono in order to be able to win this. It's Serrano versus Miyazono, Spaniard versus Japanese driver, as we come down this back straight. So Miyazono's got the advantage of the slipstream. Is he going to have a dive to the inside for the chicane? Serrano's going to be wide to that, goes to the defensive line, tries to park it on the outside. Miyazono goes for the outside line. Side by side they go, down into the chicane, and Miyazono leads at the end of lap 33. That was crucial for Miyazono. He needed to do that to take the lead away and retain his chances of victory.
This fight is going to go down to the wire. I guarantee Miyazono was shocked when he saw Serrano ahead of him there. No one would have suspected Jose Serrano to have that pace in the mid-stint, but we should know better than that by now. This guy is a multiple winner here. It's the World Series. Miyazono rocketing away down the hill there, using the advantage of not having to run through the dirty air, and he just needs to build a bit of a gap coming down to the straight. Already 8/10 in that first sector. Miyazono is locked in now. Can Serrano do anything from here? Sasaki with a penalty there in P5 as well, but the battle remains up front, weaving on the straight, trying to break the draft. Can Serrano do anything to catch Miyazono?
The crowd here absolutely loving this one in Montreal, and Miyazono pulling out an advantage of 0.6 of a second in a lap. 2 laps soon to become 1 remaining then here for Miyazono. It is now or never time for Jose Serrano as we come around the final corner here at Road Atlanta to begin the final lap for the grand final in the Nations Cup. It is advantage to Takuma Miyazono as we go through turn 1.
You have to wonder, what if Serrano stayed out one more lap on that soft tyre? Would it have mattered? Would it have counted? Who knows? But on the last lap here, 8/10 of seconds the lead. Miyazono just rocketing away in that first sector. I think Serrano had a mistake there. The gap over 2 seconds now, and Miyazono showing you why he's one of the most respected drivers in the Gran Turismo community. This guy putting on a clinic here. He's only got half a lap now between him and victory. Miyazono looking dominant once again.
This has been an absolutely fantastic performance from Takuma Miyazono. It looked like it had swung in the direction of Jose Serrano, but Miyazono was there. The temperature was in his tyres. He was ready to pounce. He had the initiative. He took the initiative. He took the lead of the race away. And now he comes through the final series of corners. What a commanding drive from Takuma Miyazono here in the Nations Cup as he rounds the final corner at Road Atlanta to win World Series 1 here in Montreal. Fantastic! Takuma Miyazono takes top honours. It's a double Spanish podium with Serrano leading home Coque Lopez as well. And a fantastic race for Kai de Bruyne, the Dutchman. 4th position at the checkered flag. But what a drive! He's not a triple world champion for no reason at all. That was the drive of a man who wants to get another title in 2024.
Amazing drive by Takuma Miyazono, but of course big mention to Jose Serrano. He's plus 8 positions from his starting place. He almost won this thing. That middle stint was outstanding, but you have to wonder what could have been if there wasn't all that confusion mid-race with the lapped cars. That definitely cost Coque Lopez, definitely cost Jose Serrano definitely cost Kai De Bruyne time. Miyazono was probably the only one that didn't get in the way of that one. So, but amazing racing here, and just like always, the Nations Cup comes down to the last lap. What fantastic viewing!
Let's have a look then at some highlights from that fantastic race. Takuma Miyazono taking top honours, but it was Kylian Drumont who started it on pole position on the soft compound of tyre, and it looked like he was bob on for running a blinder of a strategy. We saw some great moves being made from Kai De Bruyne as he elevated himself up the order. Coque Lopez here with Sasaki as well. They had a bit of contact with one another earlier on in the race. And it all got a bit messy in the mid-stint as we saw some lap cars getting involved in the action, which cost a lot of drivers crucial time at that point, and it really cost them an opportunity. But we saw some big...